Welcome back to the ABC of EDC. I am Rick, your host through everything, everyday carry. I need your help. This is my Seiko 5 mechanical field watch. This was the first automatic mechanical watch I ever bought. And I love this thing. I think I paid like £113 or something for this 10 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that. It's a great little watch. It was my introduction to kind of automatic movement. So it had this display back, bad movement really. Not the greatest watch, 100 meters water resistance, blah, 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 blah. You know, I've moved on in some ways to bigger and better watches as I've gone along. But this has had a special place in my heart. Trouble now is this thing is running fast. And I mean fast. I set it in the morning. Let's say I set it at 9 a.m. I look an hour later, it's 10 past 10. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like it's running extremely fast, probably needs regulating or sorting out or servicing or something. But who's going to do that on a watch you paid like 113 quid for? No one. So I jumped onto Amazon. I thought, there's a new Seiko 5 military kind of field watch out there. I'll grab that. So here it is. Where is it? Here it is. Nice little Seiko. I looked at the image. I thought, that looks the same. I'll grab that one up. So, all well and good. I can put this one aside, do what I want with that, just leave it there as a kind of look-see, and I can have this new, improved Seiko 5. It's on a bracelet, everything about it kind of new and sexy. I mean, look at it. Lovely little watch, right? Just one problem. This thing here is way smaller than this thing here. This is 36 mils. This here is 42 mil. So we got a lot of difference there, man. 6 mil. That's nothing to be laughed at, man. And I really like this watch. Like I say, I like all the proportions of this watch. I like how it looks. I like the bracelet. Pretty much the same day date function. The movement's better. So now it hand winds, hacks. I still got on the back a display case back on this is still there, still doing its kind of thing, but kind of new and improved movement compared to the first one. But it's just too small. But luckily, when I bought this, I thought, you know, actually, I'll also try out another mechanical field watch. So I bought a little Citizen. But lo and behold, when I opened up the Citizen, much to my dismay, this thing was tiny too. Now, it wasn't as tiny as the Seiko. The Seiko 36, this here 37. But for all intents and purposes, when you look at them together, they look the same size. So I was like, great, I have to send both of these back. Waste of time. I'm gonna have to stick with my 42 mil Seiko that's running wrong for a while. But it got me thinking about the right size. What is the right size watch? So what I want to do quickly for you is just lay out all the different sizes of all the different watches, and we're going to do this in a very, very scientific way. We're going to do it like this. Now, my wrist is a 7.5 centimeter. No, sorry, 7.5 centimeters. That'd be weird. I'll be having trouble, man. I need to go to hospital. It's a 7.5 inch wrist. I think that's 19 centimeters, right? So my wrist is 7.5 inches and around 19 centimeters, right? That's that. My hand doesn't look this weird, but you get the idea. So what watches are going to be best for me in this situation? So I've got every kind of watch we could get here. So I've got a 36, I've got a 37, I've got a 38, just reviewed this watch, Snoopy, love it. I've got a 39, I've got a 40, I've got a 41, I have to move these along a little bit, 41, I've got a 42, and I've got a 43, and I've got way over here, hardly fits on the page, a 44. So this is all the ranges of watches lined up in mils that you could have. Okay, so what we got 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. Now you might have some bigger watches. If you have like a pilot's watch or a G-Shock, they could go up to, you know, or you know, Panerai or whatever. And you can get smaller watches. You can get 35s and 34s and 24s and whatever you want, however you want to go. But mainly, I would say for men, this is kind of where you're going to be working. Now, my preference, if you ask me at the gate, what's my preference? My preference is in this range. It's the 39 to 42. So it's like this 39mm San Martin retro diver, sweet. Just looks good on my wrist on that 7.5. It's a little small, but I can handle it. I'm a big guy, but it doesn't get swallowed up by my mass. It does well. Again, the Seagull, and there are reviews to all of these. I'll leave links at the top, a review to the San Martin, a review to the Seagull. I will leave reviews to all these so you can kind of have a quick look at them in a more in-depth way. But again, look at this, 40. For me, perfect. Perfect. 41, 42. And like I say, I can go all the way up to 44, which is the old Casio Dura, which is still, poor thing, sitting there in my watch box without a replacement battery. Terrible, isn't it? All I've got to do is get a battery, and I just haven't been able to do it. Anyway, so these are all the options. But I hope as you're looking at this, unless you are comparing one extreme to another, for instance, unless you're taking the 36 Seiko and the 44 G-Shock, I think there you notice a very obvious difference, right? And there, you know, on wrist, you're going to see, like, it's going to be kind of a major different kind of vibe between that and that, right? Obvious to anyone. So unless you're going at extreme ends, I would say that many of us can get away, and technically I know you can wear any kind of watch you want, but technically most of us can get away with I say, kind of, I think there's a definite, for me, like a 40mm is my favourite size, but I think I can go 2mm either way. But for me, I'm 6'1", I'm a big guy. This little wee baby 36 here, it looks like I'm just, I don't know, playing grown up or something. It looks for me too small. Now, over the ages, back many years ago, you know, 50s, 60s, tiny, thin, small little watches on men were the thing. But now I think watches got a lot bigger. For a while they got really big, and now they seem to be coming back down, but then they're going up a little bit. You know, who knows? But for you, what's the perfect watch size for you? If you don't already know, let me just give you maybe a little bit of advice. If you're going to buy a diver's watch, I'd say that divers are a great watch to buy because you can disguise a little bit of the size. And unless they're very thick, you can disguise a little bit of the size by the fact that you have a bezel. See, the bezel around the outside means that the actual dial is smaller. And if it's coloured right, and like I say, if it's not too thick, like this San Martin is not too thick, actually a diver can look smaller than its case size actually is. Where something like this Seiko here, it's just all dial. There's no bezel, you see? There's no bezel there to kind of disguise how big it is. Same with something like this Pagani design, this kind of rip-off, homage tribute act, you know, this Fate Lust Whiffany dial. Do you know what I mean? Same thing. There's no bezel. Well, it's a very smooth bezel, but, you know, there's no chunky bezel there. So actually, you know, it seems maybe a little bit larger. If it was a diver, it would kind of seem a little smaller. Look at this. This is a 38mm. This is the Snoopy. Like I say, we just did a review on this just the other day. Great little watch. 38mm. But, you know, wears pretty well for me. And in some ways, this doesn't feel, it feels smaller than a 38mm because of that dial. The actual size of the dial. Where are my calipers? 1 second. See, the actual size of the dial, the face of the watch itself is 24. Like, it's 24. And if you look at the face on the 40mm Seagull, the face itself is 34. 34. You know? Even on this, even on the mighty 44mm Duro, right? Duro, you got to say Duro, okay? Even that, the actual dial itself is only 31. Whereas on the, you know, the Seiko mechanical, you know, the actual dial, you know, 36. you know? So odds and sods. So for my money, what's going to make a watch seem big or small? How much actual dial there is compared to actually how much case size, the thickness of the watches. If they're quite thin, then actually that helps it sit on the wrist a little bit better. I've never had one on, but Richard Mille, I'm not sure I could ever wear one because they're just too chunky. They seem to sit way off the hand, and I can't handle that, man. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be good. I like watches that aren't thick. Anything when you're getting up to like 13.5, 14 mil, I'm a bit like, oh, I'm not sure about that, man. I'm not sure. That's kind of my situation. Anyway, where did we start? We started this thing by me wanting to buy another replacement Seiko mechanical field, thinking it would be 42, and I got a 36 mil and I got a 37 mil Citizen. Now the Citizen is I think it's an eco drive, so it's extremely thin. Actually, I mean, what is the width on this? Yeah, I mean, it's 9.3 mil thick. But again, it just at 37 mil, just I think too small for me. What do you think, man? Leave it in the comments, man. You say like, man, got a giant hand. What's he doing? That watch too small. For me, I think it gets a little bit lost. And it being an eco drive, I guess it's very light for some reason. There's not a lot of infrastructure in the body of the watch, it seems. There's no battery, there's no movement. Anyway, what am I trying to say? Is this helpful in any way at all? I'm not sure. I thought it'd be just a fun little video. But I think what you've got to do is you've got to experiment for yourself. What watches do I like? And don't just think that a 43 or 42 will be too big for you if you've tried one before and it has, because watches are different depending on thickness, case shape, actual dial width as opposed to case width, how they sit on your wrist. All these are factors. So whatever you normally do, I think you can, like I say, I think you can stray a couple of mil either side, but it's worth trying. You never know. You just don't know. A friend of mine I always take the mick out of, who has a much smaller wrist than me, actually has a 45 or 46 mil Flieger watch that he wears on a bun strap with reckless abandon. He don't care, man. He loves it. Do you know what I mean? I think that watch is too big for me. So it's going to come down to preference. But what would I say? Just try it, man. Life's too short to just say, I'm sticking at whatever. Like, here's my 40 mil. That's me. I live in the land of 40 mil. No, man. It's all right. Try a little 39. Try a little 38. You know what I mean? Get to a place and slowly you'll realise, no, 36 is no good for me. 37 is no good for me. And although the Casio Duro is a straight up masterpiece, even 44 is a little bit big for me. And then you find, this is where I live. I live in this land between, or even 38 probably is a bit too. I live in this land, this is where I've landed, between 38 mil and 43 mil. Like I say, I don't know if this has been a helpful video or some mad silliness. Whatever it is, I hope it's been helpful to you. I hope that you got something from it. And I hope in your little journeys of trying to find a watch that fits you, that you land somewhere comfy and you find a watch like I found in this little Seiko that just becomes a watch you really want to keep forever ever. Anyway, like I say, quick one. I'm out. What size is your favourite size? What things do you include in your thinking when working out whether a watch is the right size or the wrong size? What's a no-go and what's a definite go for you? Anyway, till the next time, you take care. Carry what you love. I'll see you next time. Later.